Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a very exciting video. I really had a fun time researching this. So we just had Palantir earnings and I lost $2,000 on call options on the earnings because I thought super mega growth was coming to Palantir, and obviously I was wrong. I thought that the quarter was pretty decent, but the stock fell quite a lot. So I wanted to make a video about what's next for Palantir, what can we expect for the stock price, and is this stock a good buy? So let's see. I put together some data for you, and all I ask for you is please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's go. So basically, as I mentioned in an earlier video, the report was very, very interesting because so the problem is the expectations were so hyped for earnings that Palantir had to not only beat, but everybody was expecting that they would beat, so they would have to beat the beat, if you understand what I mean. And they didn't beat the beat, they just beat. Like they basically came out with what everybody was expecting. But I believe Wall Street has missed something huge, because if you look at all the backward-looking indicators, so what is a backward-looking indicators? That is revenue growth. But if, for example, revenue growth, that's a backward-looking indicator, gross margin, all these margins. What is forward-looking indicators? So that's like customer count growth, because, you know, the more customers you get, we know that Palantir is a company that has a longer sales cycle and they scale in a customer. So normally a customer comes to a boot camp, let's say, and then they start using Palantir for one use case, and then the colleagues get very envious, and then they save a lot of money for the company, proof of concept, everything. And then they're like, okay, we can use it for another 2-3 use cases. And then they use that, it's working good, and then it just spreads in the company. So we know that as long as the customers are growing, revenue growth is going to follow that. US commercial remaining deal value. So that's the deals that you sign with customers, but you haven't delivered, but you know you are going to deliver because it's in the contract. So that's a future metric. Deals closed, don't need to explain. Again, customer numbers and total US commercial total contract value. So I want you to look at all the forward-looking indicators and keep this in mind. So they had a 40% US commercial revenue. The total revenue growth was, I believe, 21%, because you know some sections were lower. But look at the future-looking numbers. So 69, like, and they were growing 40%, but the customer count is growing 69%. But not only is the customer number growing 69%, the US commercial remaining deal value is growing 74%. And not only is that growing 74%, so they're getting way more customers than revenue. Then the customers are signing more deals that have not been, materialized yet. The number of deals is 94% year over year. Since they started this, AI revolution, or whatever you want to call it, the ChatGPT moment, the US customers 12x'd in 3 years. 12x. That is nuts. And I must say, I really like asymmetric, risk reward ratio. So while Wall Street is focusing on, because to be fair, Palantir has quite a high valuation. I'm going to show you my valuation model that is available for YouTube channel members. So if you want to get access to it and support the channel, you can find a link in the description box and become a channel member. Thank you so much. So as the growth is today, I want to show this to you. Let me make my head disappear. I don't know if I can bring it back, but whatever. So if the growth is 20% and the operating margin is 32%, this is the adjusted operating margin. Then in 2025, they're going to have about $1 billion of free cash flow. I'm calculating with 3% dilution on the shares. That would give a, and if you take price to adjusted operating cash flow. It's a very weird metric to use for this, but this is the best one that I've found for now. I'm actually going to redo this table, but just bear with me. So if you times this 1 billion by the 50 price to operating adjusted cash flow, you have a market cap of 51 billion. If you divide this 51 billion with the share count, you get a price of 22. And the price today, I believe, was like 21.72. So we're pretty fairly priced for the growth that we have. And to be honest, even if I increase this to 25%, this number barely goes to 24. So remember, that's what the fair value of the share would be at the end of 2025. So that's not very sexy, right? We can look more into the future. So this table calculates if they would have 25% year-over-year growth all the way out to 2030. Then the share price would be 62. And if you would want a 15% return, then today the stock price should be $24, and we're below that. So if you look out to 2030 and you assume a very aggressive growth, the fair value of the stock is 25%. But here is where I think Wall Street and everybody is making a lot of mistakes. So the point is, if you believe that Palantir is only going to grow 25%, then the stock is at fair value. You don't really have a lot of upside. You're probably going to get 15% return per year. But I believe that there is something really brewing in the air that nobody is paying attention to, and not even the YouTubers. I believe it's coming, but there is not yet a lot of attention on this. So I want to show you certain things that are happening behind the background. So the net dollar retention of Palantir, this is the least exciting. We go from least exciting to more and more exciting. So the net dollar retention has been declining for many quarters, and then it started to come back up. And the thing is, what this means is that if one customer was paying, or the average customer was paying them $100, the next year after, they're going to grow 11% on that customer. And if this number re-accelerates, going back to 20 or 30%, that would mean that these guys would be growing 20 to 30% just with their existing customers without adding any new customers. And this number, although it's still quite low, it seems to be making a comeback. And if we reach, 120, 125 on this, like it was already back in Q1 2022, it would be insane for Palantir's growth. Now, let's go to some more exciting things. So Palantir is a company that keeps on innovating, right? And, when I started covering Palantir and the stock price was down in the sixes, us retail investors had a lot of complaints about, their go-to-market strategy, about how they don't have developers, how that they, are going after humongous contracts, and everybody was, and I want to give special credit to CodeStrap, because I know that he has been the one that was banging the drum loudest on this. He wanted a way for Palantir customers to be able to sign up with a credit card and just be able to use the software. And Lord behold, on the 7th of May, so that's, was it the day? That was the day after earnings. So they announced that Palantir has released a way for anyone to sign up, instantly get access to modules of Palantir AIP, and you get a 500 free to use when sign up, link in the second post. So this premiered at the SCSP AI Expo. So why this is insane is because this opens the floodgates to a lot of customers to become Palantir clients. And again, Palantir in 20 years, their customer count is like maybe 500, maybe it's in the high 400s. And listen to what CodeStrap wrote. So how many customers do you think Palantir added on Tuesday? I'm betting close to 500 in a few hours. Everyone who registered provided a credit card and a valid ID. Judging by the number of people messaging me, the demand is massive. and the YouTubers, silent. And I actually agree with CodeStrap here that the reason why I think that this is being missed is because this will be super significant in a year or 2 or 3 years down the line. Because again, Palantir spreads with customers. So most probably these 500 new customers that were giving money to Palantir, it's most probably very, very small contracts. But again, the way that Palantir has always expanded in the 20 years is they were giving out their product, people were using them. It was mostly given out for free. People were using them, and the product was so good that they signed up, and then the product just spread within the organization. They were using it for more and more and more and more use cases. So maybe in a day, they just added the same amount of customers that they have collected in 20 years. I mean, if you cannot see the significance of that, I can't help you. And really want to shout out to CodeStrap because I believe he was really big on making this happen. So again, this is a day after earnings. And already the numbers that were reported on the earnings, it was showing that there's a lot of future growth coming, and then they added this. Okay, so now let's look at the next thing. Shyam Sankar tweeted, this was yesterday. I'm kicking off developer-oriented meetups across the US. Want to EMC or host in your city? DM me. Explore build with AIP. If your project rocks, we will fly you out to the next AIP Con to share your work with the world. So what has been CodeStrap, and because of CodeStrap, a lot of retail investors been complaining about, I remember when Palantir was in the $6, it's that Palantir has no developer community. And why is that a problem? It's because a lot of companies that have a lot of non-IT employees, if they start using Palantir, they're very afraid that if they run into issues, Palantir is manpower constrained and they can't get help. But if there's a lot of developers out there that are certified on Palantir Foundry, then it's very easy to hire help. And on top of it, these people who are developers, they're going to advocate for using Palantir at different companies. When they're going to go and consult with companies, they're going to see use cases and they will be like, look, you guys need to use Palantir. So again, this is something that is pouring fire, mega fire on the expansion of Palantir. And this is something that we have been complaining about for ever since I've been part of the Palantir community. And they just solved it, okay? And again, why is this so silent about this? It's because it's not something that is going to have an effect on this quarter or next quarter or the quarter after. It's probably going to be 2-3 years before this one plays out, but it's super significant, okay? Then let's look at the next one. So remember, the last big thing was yesterday, and today is a new day, and these guys, they are not sitting with their hands under their butts. So today they're introducing Build with Palantir AIP, a curated library of references, examples, tutorial, and starter kits designed to turbocharge application building. So now companies can sign up with a credit card. You're getting, developer meetups. So you're getting a lot of developers out there who can use Palantir. And now on top of it, they're making it even more seamless to become a new customer adopting Palantir, because you have tutorials available now, AIP modules available now. So you don't have to, like, let's say you're a new hospital that adopts Palantir, you can just use the scheduling module and, make it fit your own special needs. And all of it cuts down the friction and the toughness of applying Palantir so that you can get results basically straight away. And I'm blown away by this. And ever since I follow Palantir, they keep on innovating, they keep on releasing products, and this is just not stopping. So what is my prediction about Palantir stock price? Because this is going to be a very interesting one. So I believe that there is a moment coming when everybody is going to realize that we were wrong about the growth rate of Palantir, okay? So I hold Palantir since $8. And to be honest, I am very happy if Palantir just keeps growing at 20% and I keep getting this 15% year over year, I'm very happy with that return, okay? If you're new entrant to Palantir and you don't think that they're going to grow, again, your returns are probably, if you believe that they're not gonna increase the growth rate, you're going to get 15% return per year. If you're fine with that, good. If you're not, you probably need to find another stock. But if you believe what I believe, which is there is a huge hidden growth coming and they're going to have either an NVIDIA quarter or a series of quarters where they're going to just beat, like let's say they come out with 30% growth and then 35% growth and then 40%, 40%, 40% growth, then this is a very, very exciting stock. And until that happens, I don't know if it's going to be next quarter or the quarter after, or it's in 3 quarters or 4 quarters from now. But I think that until then, if Wall Street is only looking at the backwards looking numbers, Palantir is going to be quite overvalued or at best fairly priced. And the stock, I believe, is going to trade between this $20 to $27 range. And I want to show you, if we change the numbers in the model, what is the fair value of Palantir today, because it gets crazy. So if they would go back to 40% growth, then the fair value of the stock price would be 24 today if you're only planning to hold it up to 2025. But if you go out to 2030 and they keep on growing with 40%, which is very tough, not a lot of companies can grow 40% year in and year out 6 years straight. So I just want to say that. Then the share price would be $138 in 2030. And if you want to get a 15% return yearly, then the stock price would be $55. Like the fair value of Palantir today would go up to $55. So that is something that is very, very exciting. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. I'm very excited about this company. I think that there is something very big happening in the background. I was wrong. It wasn't this quarter. Lost my 2,000. That was, when I bought that call option, I knew that this could happen. So I'm completely fine with it. I'm a big boy. But let me know in the comments. What do you think about this? Do you think it's crazy or do you agree with me? And if you feel you got value out of this video, please consider supporting the channel. You can become you can join and become a channel member. And I'm gonna somehow take care of you guys with some perks that are coming. So thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.